Hey, how are we doing, everybody? Welcome back. So I've got the wicked Kawasaki Z H2 today, and in today's video I'm going to show you just how easy it is pulling wheelies on this monster. And this is probably the main reason why I love this motorcycle as much as I do. Why it's my favourite motorcycle in the collection that we've got. This is the motorcycle that gets my juices flowing the most. Now I've only got one camera today because as I've been out and about shooting today, I forgot to bring any spare batteries with me, so that's always handy, isn't it? So now I know for a fact that this motorcycle will pull wheelies easily in second and third, but just to demonstrate, we're gonna do them in first, and we're going in the sport mode for this as well. So I mean, I could probably get better results with the traction control off in the rider, rider customize mode, but here we go. So that front wheel, man, yeah, it loves coming off the ground, and that is just in first gear, but it will do it in, well, pretty much in every gear. I mean, I'll demonstrate again. Here we go, and we're going a little bit downhill as well for this one. Woo! I'm trying to get better at controlling the wheelies because in one of the earlier videos, God, it was either this week or last week, I can't remember, where I've burnt out my ZX9R's clutch, and that was from practicing second gear clutch ups. And so I was like, well, okay, I still want to be able to practice my wheelies, but the main thing that I've got is fear of the front end of the motorcycle coming up off the ground like that. So I thought to myself, well, I've got a wheelie monster in the garage, why don't I just take that out and just pull the wheelies on that instead? I mean, I'm not doing the clutch ups with this. All right, this is all just throttle. Here we go. Okay, I lost a little bit of grip then on the back wheel. It's a little bit annoying, but you know, just for the habit of getting used to the front end of the bike coming up off the ground, this for me is like the perfect choice right now. So that's basically what we're going to do today. We're just going to mess about with the Z H2 and just pull a load of wheelies today. Now those wheelies right there, they were probably coming off the ground about that much, so probably not an awful lot. But I mean, by the end of today's video, I want to see if I can get confident enough to bring up that front end just a little bit higher. And I know that I've got the wheelie control on because I mean it's got the traction control, so I know it's got wheelie control on, but I just don't trust it. I don't know why I don't trust it on this bike, man. Even with wheelie control on, it wants to go. It really does want to pull wheelies all the time, and that's why I love it, man. That's why I love this motorcycle so much, and what a perfect day to do this as well. It's so dry, and it's been raining a lot this week. Now second gear wheelies are perfectly doable on this bike, but I think my tire pressure is a bit too high. So I'll have to check that. But because on the test ride that I did on this motorcycle, gosh, well over 2 years ago now, the second gear doesn't want to come up as easily when you roll on the throttle like this. You see that? Yeah, man. This bike will throw you about or knock you for six. Honestly, it's kind of terrifying. Let's try it again. Here we go. There we go. Just a little baby wheelie, and I'm not trying to be jerky on the throttle. I'm trying to be nice and gentle, because what I want to be able to do is hold the wheelie up a little bit, if I can, rather than just going up and then smack back down again. I want to be able to control the descent of the front wheel as much as I possibly can. But yeah, man, this bike for wheelies, oh, it lost a little bit of grip there again. You can hear it goes whoop, whoop, like that, and then yeah, you lose the wheelie because that rear wheel just loses a little bit of grip. Let's try again. Let's try rolling on. Oh. The one thing I will say, you will burn through fuel doing this. The Z H2 hasn't got that great fuel economy as is. I mean, right now it's reading us 38.1 mpg, which is actually pretty good. But that's gonna go down today. I guarantee you, that's gonna go down today. I mean, that is over like what, 2,500 miles. I've basically not touched the trip computer or anything like that. So but, oh man, it's so good. We'll try it in second. But the problem in second with this motorcycle, at least with the way it was configured right now, with the suspension and with the tire pressure, is you just end up going really fast in a straight line. And that's the thing, when you're pulling a wheelie, you don't actually want to be going that quick. You know, if you're going faster than 50 mile an hour when you're pulling a wheelie, that is quick, man. That is fast. And I want to be able to give myself as much time as possible to slow down if I need to. So the slower the wheelie is for me, the better. But yeah, we'll try it. We'll try it in second gear. Here we go. Let's do just a roll on. This is going downhill, so let's see. Here's a roll on. Okay, yeah, front wheel came up on that one. It didn't come up much, but it came up. Let's try again, it's those higher RPMs. Yeah, okay, so second gear, it likes spinning wheelies, but I was doing 70 mile an hour. 70 miles an hour pulling a wheelie, I'm not happy with that, man. I'm not happy with that at all. That's too quick, and this is a really long road, but it's probably only about, I don't know, half a mile, something like that. So there isn't actually a lot of room here. Now I know that there are loads of people out there that can pull wheelies and they can hold a wheelie basically all the way up this road, but I'm just a beginner. I'm practicing, all right? I'm rubbish at wheelies, always have been, but I'm trying to learn. I came off the throttle. Either I came off the throttle there and the front wheel came down, or that was the wheelie control kicking in, actually. I don't know. Didn't feel like I came off the throttle that much, but let's try again. I am closing the throttle ever so slightly. I can feel it. I'm not gonna lie, man. When you're doing wheelies for the first time, this is why I'm documenting this. And I haven't documented any of what I've been doing on the ZX9R because I haven't felt confident enough to share that with you guys yet. But we will. In the near future, we will. When I get a little more confident doing the clutch ups, when I get a little bit more confident with the front end of the bike coming up in front of me, then I'll start sharing it then. But I want to show off this motorcycle, man. I want to show off the ZH2 because she is just, honestly, one of the best motorcycles on the planet right now. Seriously. This bike is so good. So good. Let's try again in second gear, but the thing I'm a little bit worried about is, one, going really fast, but two, is running out of revs. There's one thing that you probably shouldn't do on this motorcycle is rev it out too much. It doesn't have an intercooler. This is a supercharged motorcycle, so it doesn't have any cold, fresh air going into the intake, which can melt stuff inside your engine. So let's see. Whoa! Hey! Yeah, man! That was a good one. I mean, I don't know how far that was probably a foot, but... that was a baby one, but yeah, the junction's coming up. Oh, it's an adrenaline rush, man. And you start to panic. When the front wheel comes up, it feels so unnatural. You know, and I mean, I'm one of those riders that does like to keep both wheels on the ground. But it's something I've always been wanting to practice. With that one, I bottled out of it. Because this is the bit where I keep losing grip. See if I can go in the middle of the road here. Let's see if I can keep the handlebars straight as well. See, I keep veering off to the right. It's because I'm pulling on this handlebar here, so it keeps on wanting to go that side. Yeah, I came off the throttle then. I came off the throttle. That's the thing that sucks, is your fear. Getting over that fear is the hardest part when it comes to pulling wheelies. Literally, right now, I'm feeling anxious and stressed out. You know, that kind of sinking feeling where you've just heard some really bad news and you don't know what to do about it, you don't know how to react, you don't know how to respond. That's kind of like how it feels when you're pulling a wheelie, at least for me, and you're practicing them. But It's just so annoying, man, because when you see the guys on Revzilla and they do the Daily Rider, and there's the most popular section of those videos. They're basically motorcycle reviews. They're really, really awesome videos. Definitely check out Revzilla. But the most awesome part of it is Will It Wheelie, and he does it, I think, with every single motorcycle. As far as I'm aware, he does a Will It Wheelie section. And man, that guy just pulls wheelies like they were nothing. I think he was like a pro racer. I can't remember his name. But yeah, it's awesome. The fact that he can get any motorcycle he likes, and basically pull a wheelie on it. I mean, recently he did the, it probably wasn't recently actually, it was probably last year now, but he did one on the Ninja 400. You know, the small ball inline 4. And he made it look easy, and it was in first gear, but he made it look easy, man. Oh, I want to be able to do that. I bottled it. I need to give it a little bit more gas there, and I bottled it. Alright, last one then, here we go. Oh, see, I came off the throttle ever so slightly, and that's enough. That's all it takes for the front wheel to come down. Okay, I did a double wheelie. I did a double up. Whoop, whoop. Alright, yeah, I think my stress tolerance levels are peaking right now, and the thing I don't want to do is make a mistake, because this is a 16,000 pound motorcycle after all. But oh man, I freaking love it. I absolutely love this motorcycle, and you know what, I think I will. I think I'm going to put on an aftermarket slip-on exhaust, save a little bit of that weight, save get a little bit of extra horsepower. See, the handlebars keep turning to the right. It's because I'm pulling back like that. I know it is. But if I free up a little bit of horsepower, I might play around with the suspension. I might decrease the pressure inside the tire, and we'll come out and we'll do this again. But basically, I just wanted to do this video to let you guys know that I am actively practicing doing these wheelies. I'm trying to get more confident. I'm trying to stay calm when I do them as well, because that is perhaps the most important thing when you're practicing these wheelies, is just to stay calm and not to panic. When you start panicking, that is when you start doing really jerky actions. You start doing movements that, you know, that aren't good. And the thing is, on a motorcycle, and this goes with anything that you do on a motorcycle, it's all about how smooth you are. It's all about how smooth you are with the clutch. It's all about how smooth you are with the throttle. You shouldn't have to be doing that, you know, to pull wheelies. You shouldn't have to be doing that. It should be smooth. You should be able to roll on the throttle, give the clutch a little bit of a controlled pop, and that should be it. That should be all it takes to get that front wheel off the floor on most motorcycles. Now, I have said in the past that on 125s, pulling wheelies is exceptionally hard. I don't think I ever said it was undoable, but I think the video that I posted it on was things you cannot do on a 125. And I know a lot of people that can pull wheelies on 125s. It's just very, very difficult, and you probably need to bounce the suspension up off the ground, give it a pull at the same time as you're going full gas, full power. And I don't know, most people are never ever going to have the desire or the skill to pull a wheelie on a 125, but it is doable from what I've heard. I'm not able to do them, but I'm rubbish at wheelies anyway. Apparently they are doable. But you know, so the reason why the ZH2, the ZX9Rs for me are quite good candidates to be practicing this stuff, because a lot of people they start practicing their wheelies when they're on their 600s, you know, the middleweight kind of bikes, and that does kind of make sense because you can give it a lot of power, and it's probably not going to flip the bike over. It probably will if you give it too much, but you've got just enough room to put on a load of power without having to worry that the motorcycle is going to flip over. At least you've got to be holding on that power for a long time. And whereas on these kinds of bikes, the reason why it's it's even scarier on a motorcycle like the Z H2, basically anything with over 150 horsepower, you're kind of looking at really having to dial back and really having to be as gentle as possible when you're trying to pull the wheelies, because yeah, very easily the bikes will flip themselves over, especially on something like a ZX9R. It will flip you over because there is no wheelie control, there is no traction control, there's no computers to speak of. And so, but it is a little bit easier to pull off. You don't have to give it as much throttle to pull the wheelies, and you can be a lot smoother with the action. At least that's what I found. Comparing my experiences between practicing them on the CBR 600RR, which I know for a fact they are possible in second gear and maybe even third gear clutch ups, I did find it very difficult in the sense that I had to give it a load of throttle a lot of the time in order to bring up that front wheel. And yeah, probably the technique was all off. I have no doubt that the technique was bad, because that was the first motorcycle ever that I started practicing wheelies on. So my technique was probably all over the place. My technique probably is still all over the place right now. But I am finding it a little bit easier to bring up that front wheel on the ZX9R, even though it probably has a slightly longer wheelbase than the CBR 600RR. I'll have to check that, because the wheelbase might be the same, I'm not sure. But yeah, between the two, I'm finding it a little bit easier on the ZX9R to pop that front wheel off the ground, even if it's just a little bit, you know, where you go up like that and then come back down again. I'm finding it a little bit easier. So anyway, this is one of those things that I've been wanting to do for a hell of a long time, and finally I'm bringing up the courage to do it. And as dangerous and as stupid as wheelies are, for me they're one of those skills that I would prefer to know than not know. Because imagine if, I don't know, one day you accidentally gave your motorcycle way too much throttle, way too much clutch, and all of a sudden you're either accidentally pulling wheelies or the motorcycle is out of your control. Well, if you know how to pull wheelies and you've experienced that motion, the way how it feels, then you're going to be able to control the motorcycle a lot more in one of those situations. And we do heavily rely on our computers these days. We rely on the traction control, we rely on the wheelie control to save us when one of those occasions happens. I mean, I've had it a few times on the ZH2 where it feels like it wants to buck me. But yeah, the computers will kick in, they'll dial back the power to the rear wheel, and you should be alright. But there's nothing like being able to control it yourself. There's nothing like it at all. If you can control that kind of thing yourself, you have more power over the motorcycle. Yeah. So learning wheelies, as much as I don't recommend that anyone does a wheelie on the street, in a non-controlled environment, you know, off the cuff, that kind of thing, as much as I don't recommend you doing it, I do recommend that you actually learn how to do them and how the motorcycle reacts to a wheelie situation, because again, it's a pretty important skill, not necessarily to learn, but it's an experience that you will learn to expect and know how to control. So guys and gals, that is my kind of philosophy on the whole wheelie thing. I've always found them really cool. I've always wanted to do them myself, and believe it or not, I've never been able to do a wheelie on a bicycle, let alone on a motorcycle. So all this is very, very alien to me. And I was able to pull wheelies on a bicycle, but I was never able to hold them. And more often than not, I was either going too far back, so going all the way around, or I simply didn't have enough to get that front wheel up at any, you know, enough so it's balancing. But anyway, so yeah, this is a whole new experience for me, and I have got an idea in mind for a video where I'm going to visit a wheelie school. So if you know, I'm doing this for a little while and I'm still struggling to pull wheelies on that ZX9R, well, there is a school that is fairly nearby, about an hour away, and I'm really tempted to have a go at it, because they've got stunt bikes that they give to everyone, the people that are trying to practice clutch ups, and they only do second gear clutch ups. And I'm really curious, really curious about that experience, and I think it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. But there you go, guys and gals. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me all the way to the end of today's video. I hope you've had a little bit of fun with me. I've certainly enjoyed it, but stress levels are pretty high still. I've got a little bit of a headache, not going to lie, and I'm feeling very anxious, but that is kind of what happens when you're doing something that feels very alien. You know that you're able to control it, but it still feels alien nonetheless. And yeah, just really high stress levels. But I'll get there. I'll get there with enough practice. I'm sure I'll get there. I'm sure I'll get confident enough to pull wheelies confidently and consistently. And yeah, that's the aim anyway. Yeah, thank you ever so much for joining me again all the way to the end of today's video. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to get subscribed, make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our future episodes of the Kawasaki Z H2 or the Z X9R when it comes to this motorcycle wheelie journey. Yeah, thanks again, ride safe, and we'll catch you all in the next video. Have a good one. Take care, guys and gals. Ride safe.
Yeah.